Okay then guys, another British basics for you today. Steak and ale pie, but not just any old steak and ale pie. This is in a hot water crust pastry, a bit like a pork pie type pastry. So we have some stewing steak, button mushrooms, some anchovies, onion, salt and pepper to taste, Worcestershire sauce and the ale, mustard, Marmite, oxo cubes, so beef stock cube, mixed herbs, some butter and some oil for cooking in. So let's get on with it, eh? Right, as usual, let's do the prep work. We only want about, let me think now, 150 grams of onion. Right, yeah. 150 grams, that's 189. Yeah, by the time I've trimmed that, it will be 150, won't it? Yeah, spot on. So we want the onion to be about the same sort of size as the beef, and they're what, 2.5 centimetre chunks. So we just do the same. They're going to reduce down anyway, aren't they? And what I'm going to do now, even though I don't need the mushrooms just yet, in fact we won't need the mushrooms for well over an hour, I'm just going to cut some in half. We want 150 grams of mushrooms. I'll do. Save those. Okay, bit of cooking. Get the pan warm. A little bit of oil. What we're doing basically is we're making a stew, and the stew's going to go in a pie. So if you didn't like the pie, you could just eat the stew. What shaped spoon should we use for this? We use this one. Just going to cook these for about 5, 6, 7 minutes. Just till they start taking on a little bit of colour. Okay, that's just about 5 minutes, just over 5 minutes. So in with the anchovy fillets. I don't get too much oil in. Not that it matters. Oh, they smell. And just another minute or two with these. Okay then, that's about a minute. Cooking well, so in with the beef. You up the heat a little bit just to get this browned off. A little bit of salt and pepper to taste. I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave the salt out and just put the pepper in. Okay, that was about 3 minutes, I'm guessing. About just over a tablespoon and a half maybe of flour. I'm just going to sprinkle it on, just to coat everything. Roughly coat everything. Right, looking good. And then in with the beer, the ale. What we've got here is a 500ml bottle. We want 250. So I'm guessing that's half a bottle. Yeah, that's about right. Put the lid back on that. I may be tempted to drink that later. And what we do now is let this boil away until it's reduced to about a half. Oh, smells good. Right, while that's boiling away, I'm just going to get the stock cube ready. I've got the water, stock cube, and just do it at the front here, as I've shown you before, I think. Just open the wings of the cube and squash it down. There we go, so much easier. And then just wiggle wiggle and it all comes out. Yeah. Okay, leave that to one side. Okay, I'm going to say that that is about ready. Oh, let's get the rest of the bits in now, so we're going to turn the heat down quite a bit. Right. Just a sprinkling of mixed herbs, just to give it a bit of je ne sais quoi. About a tablespoon of English mustard. About. I'm just going to stir that quickly so it doesn't clump. Oh yeah, that's all, look at that, that's really reduced. Tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, Funnily enough, there's anchovies in Worcestershire sauce as well. Might have got away with just using that. I'm going to put the stock cube next. In with the stock. And, now this may surprise some people, half a tablespoon of Marmite. Oh, you see it? Yeah, Marmite. Right. The stickiest stuff ever, this is, isn't it? There we are. Right, and we're just going to leave this cooking now for a good hour, 60, 75 minutes even. We want it to become a nice thick stew, really low heat, lid on, and just let it cook away. Okay then, so while the stew is finishing off, I'm just going to saute these mushrooms quickly. It's amazing how quickly mushrooms shrink in size, isn't it? I reckon that'll do, you know. There we are, save those for later. Right then, well that's been over, oh I don't know now. Yeah, that's been about an hour and a half. It's reduced considerably, so it's time to put the mushrooms in. We'll just get that down to a thick sauce. Then we think about making some pastry. I think that would probably set quite well now actually. But I just want to get it a little bit thicker. I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm going to pour it in the bowl. Now this has got to be completely cold before we put it into the the pie cases, so take it out of the pan because the pan's going to hold the heat quite a lot. I'll leave that there. Oops, nearly lost it. Okay then, for the hot water pastry I'm using a mix of flours, 200 grams of plain and 50 grams of bread flour, a little bit of salt. Now I'm using a lard and butter mix, a bit of water and an egg yolk. I want 50 grams of butter, so that's about a quarter or a fifth of a block. So let's just guess that for now. Probably need more than that actually. 0, oh that's not bad, 58. Yeah, that'll be alright. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this into little pieces because I've got to fold this into the flour in a minute, rub it into the flour. Right, that's the butter. Put that away, and I'm going to do this in the pan because that's going to go straight on there. 60 grams of lard. Lard or beef dripping. Let's take the scales off first before I turn the cooker on. Going to melt the lard in hot water, 100 ml of water. Yeah, so while that's merrily warming itself up, I'm just going to measure out I want 200. Yeah, 200 grams of plain flour. I want to get some more actually. And 200 grams of plain flour, sorry, and 50 grams of bread flour. Okay, that'll do. Let's get this out of the way then. Okay, now so all I'm going to do is rub the butter into the flour. With my fingers. You could use a mixer for this, a processor or whatever. Yeah. Okay, now so in with the egg yolk, in with the hot water and lard, and don't use your fingers for this guys, it will hurt. But the, what you call it, the stoneware mixing bowl will help cool it down a bit. I reckon it. That's good. Quite soft actually. And it's not sticking to the bowl, which is good. I reckon that'll be alright to tip out now, you know. Oh. We're going to need flour? No, not. So just going to work it a bit. And the idea of using a bit of bread flour is it puts a little bit of gluten in it, which helps it stay together. And the plain flour gives it the crispy, crusty bit, and the bread flour gives it the workability like this, look, see? This is good, I like this, nice and warm. Okay, I think I'm about done now, I think. Right, so what I'm going to do is I need to take some of that off to make the lids. Now, this is what I'm going to be using to form the pies. Poor Hollywood pie mould. So I'll leave that over there. I was going to cover it, but there's no need really. So what I'm going to cook it in is that. So a little bit of flour in the bottom just to stop everything sticking. going to do now, like, is hold it against myself. You can't really see this. I'll put it upside down. Just gradually ease it down. Right, I'm just going to trim that as level as I can without dropping it. It's a bit thick. Oh, there we go. Right, I'm going to do this on here now. Let's have lots of crust, won't we? I'll tell you what, that don't look too bad. It's a bit thick. My first attempt, mine, so yeah. Well, let's get some in there. At least it's got gravy in it, which will seep to the edges, you know what I mean? No need to put any gelatin in this. Right, let's roll this out quickly. Right. Bear with me with this, guys. This is my first ever time using this mould, so I think the pastry could be a little firmer because it's moving, isn't it? I can see it moving. Right, let's have a quick. Right, very quickly. Egg wash. I can rush here, aren't I? Right, here we go. Let's see how that goes, eh? Always the first time for everything. Right then, guys. It's been 40 odd minutes. So let's get it out of the oven. And it's not quite what I was expecting. But nonetheless, it's quite a presentable pie. Yeah. I'll tell you what, that's not too bad actually. It's not the tall pie I was hoping for, that's for sure. Right then, guys, I'm going to go for it and see what will come out. Oh yeah. Not too bad, not too bad. Oh dear. Guess what I'm having for supper tonight? Right. I'll tell you what, it's juicy enough, look. Yes. Oh yeah, that is, I'll tell you what, that is cooked to perfection. We have to wipe this up a little bit so I want to get a good photograph. Right, let's carry on with the taste test. It is good. Pastry's good. Some of mushroom and a bit of meat. No, despite the shape, that is getting a diggy 10 out of 10 thumbs up. I'm loving that. And I'll tell you what, I know what I'm going to do with my leftover stews in future, because that would be perfect. I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to stop because I want to save this for later on. I will be trying this again, but next time I try it, because I'm a bit of an amateur with the old pie dolly, I'm going to try a more solid pie, like a pork pie or a Scotch pie. I hope you enjoyed that one, guys. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next recipe.